Hello. Yesterday I posted a screenshot of our Prologram Neo4j graph database browser, and I was requested by a couple of people to make a screencast of it. So there it is. This screen where you're looking at now is what you see when you log on to the Prologram browser with a query window here in which you can enter a cipher query. So you can have it detect relationships automatically, or you can switch it off. As you can see, it opens in two different panels. If you add some label information, and here I can say, okay, let me zoom in a little bit. This is a node with labels Prologram and user, and you can style this label, this node different ways. You can say, okay, I want to have just the text, or just the text and the image, or just as an image. Now if we close those, there is a list of queries that you can predefine, and for instance you can have a query which is called node type count, which returns for different node labels, of combinations of labels, the count of nodes. If I have a right click on here, I can say, okay, list these nodes as a list, or as a network, which of course, since it's one person, it's only one node. I can also say, okay, list this node with all its neighbors, and then I get this kind of information. Let's go back here. In each diagram, I can add nodes. Let's say if I have another person, person with name Camila. Of course, I can add new properties. If I have age 52, and I can create a relationship, knows, and also since things like that. So I can add nodes like this and relationships. Let's have a look at how this system with all these queries work. Because we have a list of queries, and as a network they work together. So if let me have an example. For instance, here I was looking at the node type count. This is a query, and if I click on the node here, I have the property. So I also have the cipher statement that is powering this query, and I can say, okay, I have an output type grid or a diagram, and you see here that here it returns the labels. So what I can do, if I want to get from use this information to power this query in this action relationship, I pass the parameters labels, and I pass it to this query, which takes the parameters labels and then so here. So this is the way you can link relationships to each other. For instance, if I have a node here, let me show this as a smaller query, just the node and its neighbors. You see, I have different queries from here. So from the all queries query, I get an ID, and I can use that to display that query as a node. And from the node, I have outgoing relationships to, for instance, this one, show node and the neighbors, and that also take the parameter ID. So you can link the queries to each other, and every time I have a query result, all these actions, they are listed in the context menu, and you can select them by order, and the first one is the one that is called by default. So if I click on this, I get all the node labels query param with neighbors. All the tests, I have all the test node with their neighbors. So it is the way you can link it together. This passing parameters and linking it together works nicely in the sense that if I have a query, for instance, here the version hist, that takes two parameters. So I have a network 2 and version 2. So it generates this network. But if I first request the names of the networks and then go from there to the version, so the network version is already known, and I only have to get the version parameter. So this is how it works. Displaying node information, we can do it different ways. Let me go to let's go with a node type count. For instance, I have terms. Okay, I had this apparently is not a good example. Neither. Okay, here I have a node get a number of nodes. So from I just request 3 random nodes. I can say, okay, show it as a node. I can say, okay, show node and neighbors incoming relationships as an object. So then you have it's a kind of JSON format, but then we put it in a table. Can say, okay, get all the diagrams in which these nodes are collected. So that's only one diagram. By the way, a diagram is an arbitrary set of nodes. For instance, if I want to have these 3 nodes, I can save them as a diagram of 3. And I request in my list of diagrams, I have my diagram of 3 over here. So now I have the 3 nodes. What is interesting, for instance, if we want to explore where can we go from here to the rest of the graph, it is interesting to see, okay, what are the relationships of these 3 nodes to the rest of the graph? Well, then I have to, there's still stuff we are working on. If I have the list of the diagrams and I have the diagram of 3, I can say, okay, show these nodes as a collection. So these are the 3 nodes. And from there I can have all the relations to the diagram. So I can see that from this set of nodes I can go for instance, to query Prologram, and then it will yield 6 relations with 6 different nodes. And by filtering this set and linking it to the diagram, we can we can orientate how you are going to explore the rest of the graph. Well, this is about it. We are still working on a lot of stuff, of course. And stay tuned. Thank you very much.